I'd like to welcome Victor Ammer from Trustody, whose face you might know if you've watched a few times. Welcome, Victor. Great to see you. And he'll be speaking on how to lead crypto payment to mass adoption, maybe even touching upon what we just discussed in the end. Also, again, if you have questions for him, reach out. Or if you want to reach out to our team, if you want to follow us on LinkedIn, feel free to do so. Give us feedback. My name is Marcel Kaiser, and over to you, Victor.
Can I use this one, right?
Yeah.
All right, this one works as well. Perfect. Hi, everyone. That's indeed a tough question, right? How to lead crypto payments to mass adoption. So far, I think the industry didn't succeed in that. And why is that, right? So, question to you, how many of you pay with a card? How many of you pay with a phone? Just the ones who pay with a card. How many of you? Just raise your hand. All right, quite a few. So, how many of you pay with a phone? All right, but I assume you pay with a Apple phone, Google phone experience, right? So what is crucial? Yeah, or with the watch, indeed, actually, also with other form factors as well. So what is crucial about payment when it comes to consumer? Convenience, right? That's what consumers want. It should be quick, it should be fast, it should be efficient, and that's why Apple Pay and Google Pay are so successful. Actually, Apple Pay is much more successful than Google Pay, to be honest, but they're working on that. The card as well, right? So the card works. Why does the card work? Because everyone can use it, right? The old ones, the young ones. You don't have to teach the consumer how to use a card. The second factor, accessibility. Like us as the industry building solutions, but for whom? For the crypto geeks? I mean, they will do okay anyway, right? They'll find a way to pay. But if we really want to build mass adoption, we need accessibility. We need tools that are accessible to everyone, to each and everyone, right? To the young, to the poor, to the educated, to the non-educated, to the rich and to the poor, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is important. It is important that we actually cover the whole spectrum, right? Not only the young digital natives, et cetera, but also the ones who never touch a smartphone in their life. And indeed, the smartphone penetration rate in Germany is about 80%, which is quite big, but you still have 20% left out, which are crucial if we really want to build an inclusive payment method. The third factor, security. Obviously, it has to be secure when it comes to payment. Money has to be secured. How to achieve that? The industry had done a few good improvements on that. And one can say, well, we've built custodians, we've built a private key, non-custodial wallets, et cetera, but again, think about how convenient they are. And there is this triangle between accessibility, security, and convenience, right? You can build a very secure thing, which will be not convenient at all, specifically when it comes to payments, right? Because everything has to go quick. So did the crypto industry actually did a good job of those three factors? No. And, well, we can argue with that, but I would say we have things that are convenient, but maybe not as secure. We have things that are accessible, but maybe not secure, or convenient, et cetera, et cetera. Or there are the ones who are secure, but not really convenient and accessible to everyone. So, well, that's my answer to that. How can a solution look like? And that's the question that we actually, really challenged ourselves with. You can teach a consumer to learn to pay in a new way. Right? That's a pretty costly and a long way to go. You can explain him what a wallet is, where the private key is stored, how to export the seed phrase, or maybe how to use a custodian, but that takes too much. So what is a payment tool that everyone understands in this room? I mean, it's obvious, it's a card. Right? So every one of you knows how to use a credit card or a debit card. And that's exactly what we did. We said, okay, so if everyone knows how to use a credit card and a debit card, how we can actually re-engineer the card so it can be used for crypto payments? And the good thing about the card is, specifically when it comes to, there's a use case with SSI as well, when it comes to security, there are secure microcontrollers on the market that you can actually use to store the private key. So you can both sign transactions as a non-custodial wallet, or you can use the card as you use a debit card to authorize transactions from a custody account. And I've tested the card with my one-year-old son and with my 92-year-old grandfather. And both could do it, right? So that's a factor that is both convenient, because it's quick and accessible, etc. It is accessible, and it is secure. So obviously, the card is not enough. So you have to have an account. You have to have an account to operate. And again, here we have an account which looks and feels like a traditional bank account. But again, you have a card, you have an account, still not enough. So what you have to do, you have to build a point of sales. So one could say, well, but that's kind of hard because you are challenging Visa and MasterCard. Yes, we are. Because for the merchants, I mean, if they pay 3-4% on acquiring fees, they will be much more open to look for alternatives and maybe accept crypto payments as well, stable coins. The question is, has the industry succeeded in offering them those good rates? So far, no. Again, this has to be much more convenient, because if I see at off-ramp and on-ramp ramps about 3%, 2%, that's too much. That has to be much, much cheaper. This is, again, crucial. So how to achieve that? Basically by building white label, SDK, and offering cards to everyone. And now I'm going to give you a nice demo just to see how it works. So I have a point of sales device here. And I enter amount, €1. So this is actually a stablecoin transaction. I enter the PIN code the same way I would do it in a shop. I attach the card, and that's it. So what I just did, and feel free to experience that yourself later on, I settled the transaction on the blockchain. There is a QR code, so you can actually go to the Blockers Pro and see that it's live. And you can obviously see it in your wallet as well. That easy it should be. And basically, the card is a form factor. So again, you can pay with watches, you can pay with armbands. That's something that we're working on. So now the crypto natives will cry, say, hey, but that was a custodial card, that's not good, not your keys, not your coin, etc., etc., etc. Right? And they are right. And there is a use case for crypto natives as well, or for the ones who are actually left out by the traditional financial industry. Because we have 1 billion, 3 billion unbanked, right? The number is fake, but there are people who don't have an ID, right? So how can you open a bank account if you don't have an ID? Not possible. How can you open a bank account if you don't have a utility bill? Not possible. What if you're a refugee? What if you're homeless, right? So how can you actually become a part of the society and feel this dignity to make decisions on your own, to make transactions? And to me, the answer is actually a non-custodial wallet that still allows you to transact the same way you can transact with a traditional debit card. So we have cards for you on the booth outside. You can actually experience that live. Grab yours. We have one for Philip, who was actually the first person who saw this live about 8 months ago, right? We have personalized cards for the speakers and then number cards for the rest of us, but obviously they're non-custodial wallets, so you'll able to experience them live, go out there, try them out, we'll top it up, so you'll have the same payment experience that I just showed you. Well, that's basically it, so I'm open for questions.